3 and 3.
Yeah, I think 700, that's crazy. That's a lot of money for DC, Maryland. And that's both DC and Maryland.
No, I don't think there's include DC. No. But would include Maryland, Virginia, I think Florida, Arizona.
So if they're doing 700, it also needs to, I think it needs to be full service is what we call white glove. Like they're doing everything for you. They're doing lunch, they're doing fingerprints, they're helping you with your packet.
Nope, you still have to do all that.
Oh, like, I mean, if they can pull those dollars, that's pretty solid.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about, we're not going to watch this whole thing. It's 20 minutes. I will put it, let me grab this real quick. I will put it here in the chat. You guys can watch it later. But this is talking about pricing strategies, how to structure um, your pricing. And this can be from physical events or physical products to in-person events or like online events, right? So I'm going to mute myself here. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Most important and one of the most critical questions you have to ask yourself as an entrepreneur is how much should you charge for your product or your service? Now, when it comes to pricing, it's such an important decision because it affects your marketing. Done properly, pricing could also be a marketing strategy. So today I'm going to give you not one, not two, not five, 7 pricing strategies. So then from now on, you know exactly how you should price your product or your service. You see, when you are not charging enough, so let's say you price too low, you're not making a profit, you're not making money. When you price too high, then maybe you're not getting customers, you're not getting enough volume, so you won't grow. So there's that fine balance, just the right type of pricing strategy to change everything. Pricing strategy number 1, price to your competition. That means find out what your competitors are charging, and then maybe you charge kind of the same. Let's say they sell this product for $100, then you say, okay, I'll sell mine for also $100. Now, sometimes I also see entrepreneurs, what they do is they would take the average prices of the, let's say, 3 top competitors, and then they would just add it together and divide it up. That also, I've seen that before. Price to your competition. Now, there is some industries, in some cases, that might be okay. You want to be competitive, right? Especially if you are in a what I call a commodity kind of a business. That means your customers, they are shopping for the best price. So by having like a price that's maybe 5-10% higher than everybody else within your industry, that might be hurting you because your customer is like, hey, you know what? You charge $100, I talk to your competitor only charges 90 or 95. Now, unless you've done your proper marketing or you know how to position yourself, there might be a difficult objection to overcome. So prior to your competition. Now, there's a downside to this. That means you are always reacting, right? You're always reacting to what your competitors are doing. They bump up their price, you bump up your price. They lower their price, you lower your price. You're always reacting to what your competitors are doing. If you want to be a leader, ideally, we want to play offense. We want to be the one that's leading. We want to be the ones that are dictating the terms, dictating the price in the marketplace, so others follow versus you follow others. Does that make sense? Pricing strategy number 2, price to pay the bills. I call this the break-even strategy. What it means is you price it enough so that you just break even. It covers your overhead, it covers your cost. Well, that might be good in the beginning in some cases that you are maybe entering a new marketplace. You're testing things. You're saying, hey, you know what? All I want to do is just to break even. I just want to test the water, see how the marketplace reacts to my offer. It's possible. Or sometimes you got to use it very, very carefully, right? Otherwise, you'll get bankrupt doing this because you're not making a profit. Is you are pricing, you're using a break-even strategy to acquire a large volume of customers. Sometimes I call that the self-liquidating offers, meaning it says for your low-ticket offer on the front end, right? You price it, just want to break even, right? If I'm selling a book, right? I don't make money from selling a book, but it's just to break even. That's fine, because that's what a book costs is $20, right? So you sell the book, similar price. but you know all the profits, all the wealth comes from the follow-up offers. So you know all the profits, all the wealth comes from afterwards, the follow-up, what you offer to the customers who have bought your book, right? That's what we want to do. This is making sense. Strategy number 3, and that is price to time. This is probably one of the most common pricing models. A lot of people do this, lawyers, professionals, accountants use this a lot. They charge per hour, or they charge per day, or charge per week, or charge even per month. That's kind of like a retainer model. Price to time. How much time am I spending on this particular task? How much time am I spending on this project, right? And that's how I would charge. So they charge $20, $30, $50. Lawyers, $100, $200, $500 per hour. Price to time. Now, this model is very, very common, but to me personally, I think this model is getting out of date as we are now transitioning from the job economy to what I call skill economy. Now companies and people, they are paying for results. They much prefer to pay for results. And here's what I believe. When you price to time, the problem with that model is the relationship that you have between you and your client. That relationship is always, there's a conflict of interest. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say you charge $50 per hour for what you do. Okay, and you bill them $50 per hour. And this is gonna take you 10 hours. And you bill them $500. Okay, that's one thing. But let's say you could get this done in 8 hours. Now be honest. Are you gonna bill them 8 or 10 hours? Even if you could get it done in 8 hours, are you gonna get it done within 8 hours? Because the relationship is, the longer it takes for you to finish something, the more money you make. Versus from the client's perspective, I want to get this done as efficiently, as fast as possible. But yet I'm paying for time. So how did this work? This is a conflict of interest. You want to make as much money as possible. They want you to get it done for as little time as possible. So price to time, I mean, there's a time and place for this, but I don't believe in that so much anymore because the whole model of back in the industrial age, clock in and clock out, no, I don't believe in that. Here's what I believe in. No fee is too high for success and almost any fee is too high for failure. When your clients are paying you, they're paying for results. When can we get this done? And shouldn't they be rewarded if they could get it done in 5 hours instead of 8 hours? If you can get it done faster, better, more efficiently, why shouldn't they be rewarded? Why would I have to pay more for you to drag the projects longer? It makes no sense. But it is a very common model and still a lot of people use it. If you want to use it that way, that's fine too. Price to time. Pricing strategy number 4, price to cost plus. Now, this is very common in, let's say, in the construction business, right?
Okay, you guys can watch the rest of that. The link is in the chat. He has some really, really good, really deep wisdom on pricing. And I would say in my area, I probably set pricing just because I've been around so long. And I'll say that pricing has not moved much in 10 years, 8 years. We're still charging $150 for a basic pistol course, and we have for a long time, even though our cost goes up. I have tried multiple times to even raise our cost, I don't know, $10, and the phone stops ringing. It's very particular in my area. But I will say that my pricing is different based on what platform we're on. So if I'm on the NRA instructors.org, well, let's just talk about the NRA basics of pistol shooting course, right? On there, there's many instructors within 25 miles of me. So our pricing there is a little low. I think it's $139. But if you go to my website, it's $159. If you go to the USCCA site, I think it's $155. And then We also have our instructor stash page, which I think is 159. So it's kind of like a hotel. Like it's the same room, depending on what platform you find the room available, the pricing could be different, and that is to stay competitive. Like I see people on the NRA site. Let me pull it up. Nope. Okay. So these are all my classes within let's say 100 miles of Fairfax, Virginia, right? This is 185, and they do deposits. I cannot stress enough not to do deposits. Okay, this one is me, 139. Did I say 135? It's 139. Another one here, 134 for in Baltimore, 250. Yeah, he's not selling that class for 250. This one's $50. So pricing is like all over the place. And that's a lot of classes to go to. Let me see this one. 165. John Bitterman. You don't want to charge who charges $50? Why would we not charge $50 for a basic pistol course? Because the book itself is how much? You have to buy the book. A book off the top is $15 plus shipping. It's 18, last time I checked was 18 to get it to my front door is 18.30 for a book. Like like what are you making $25 on for an 8-hour class? 7-hour class? That's crazy. So pricing is a big deal. It'll make or break your business. And you have to kind of get out there and put your toes in the sand and kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I only do coupons if like somebody's on the fence. I really don't like to do coupons or discount codes. If I get a call and they're like, well, there's like 5 of us. Do you have like a family plan rate? And then I'll like throw them like 20% off. So, oh, like, yeah, I'll give you a coupon. Right. But I don't typically advertise. I advertised a coupon on Google for like 5 months. It was never used once.
Do you
So
think that guy that was advertising $50 classes, do you think he was using it like a loss leader or just
let me see.
clueless?
See if I can find it. See what it says. Oh, he's doing it it's a private event. That would make sense. Little Town Fish and Game member. So he's probably doing it for a group. That's probably his cost is $50.
Wow.
That makes sense. He's probably volunteering. Yeah. And I would like to, sometimes I call people and play a student. Why is your class $250 and the one 2 miles from you is $150? And sometimes they have a really great reason. Oh, we take care of guns, we take care of all your ammunition, we feed you lunch, and you're in an air-conditioned unit, and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they're just crazy. Like, okay, they're saying that this includes the $250 class, includes the 4-hour Maryland HQL requirements. They cover Maryland firearm law and application process. That's it. And they will sell you ammo. They, you either bring ammo or they'll sell you ammo. So they're advertising it as a 2-in-1, which is kind of smart, but I still think it's too expensive. A 4-hour HQL, they're saying, well, come learn basics and a 4-hour HQL class. A 2-for-1 deal, which is, I think it's kind of smart. But I still think $250 is too much. And then they're asking $82.50 for a deposit. Please stop doing deposits. Please.
Lisa, we're doing the same thing, the basic with Maryland HQL, and we are providing ammo and firearms, and we're only doing it for what, 165?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic price. You guys need have you partnered with the range at all, or a gun shop or anything?
Not a gun shop. The range, well, I think we really haven't partnered with the range that we're using or that we're going to, but we're renting classroom space out of them.
Okay.
And it's what, 150 a day. So we figured even at the 165, it's still gonna, if we get a full class, it's what, 6 people I think we can do right now. It's still gonna cover that plus.
No, that's good. Does that include range time? Your 150?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a secret. Ask the range. This is what I did at SCG. You guys know SCG, right? SCG was really expensive. And I was like, oh my God, because the NRA was closed because of COVID, right? This is a long time ago. I asked them if my students could pay a range fee and deduct it from my total. And they're like, you just want us to take your range fee? I said, yeah, just make me a button on the computer, Lisa's range fee, and tell me what the difference is at the end of the day. Many, many days I didn't have to pay anything. It's very standard that a student will pay range fees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good.
Absolutely.
Just maybe ask them like, do you know what their range fee is? Like if somebody just walks in,
Like $25 or $30, I think.
then put in your emails like there's a $25 range fee that goes to the range. So you're still making 165 and they're paying their own range fees. That's what I do at the NRA. I do pay rent. I pay the classroom, but I don't pay for any range fees. The students covers their own fees. And the range is happy to take that. Yep, I will definitely take, and they just raised their pricing. Yeah, I'll definitely take my $35. Oh, you have 10 students today? So that way, it's another $300-400 in pocket a month or whatever. It's a car payment right there.
And how does how much does a room cost generally? Is there a range?
I mean, if you go to VFW, it could be free. It's really where you at. And then you can go to some high-end ranges like SEG and it's $40 or $50 an hour.
Okay.
It's really, everything is negotiable. You know that. You're a lawyer.
I kind of get that. Yep.
Yeah. So rethink your pricing, just kind of look over it. And make sure you're kind of in the game. I think 165 is right on point for where you guys live and the national standard. Have you run any tickets through Instructors Dash yet?
But the 3 that did sign up, it's coworkers of mine. She did register through there, but had a difficult time getting past entering credit card information, even though we're not requiring deposits.
I don't understand. Like it's Stripe. She couldn't. I mean, that's a Stripe page. She
Yeah,
could.
I'm not sure. It was like 10 o'clock at night. She was trying to do it. So I have no idea if she was half asleep or what was going on. But
I mean, it's pretty, I mean, we don't make that page. That page comes from Stripe. It's pretty simple, but we are leaving Stripe. Just,
Mhm.
I think I told people that probably next month. We're getting out of the Stripe game. I've seen too many scary stuff the last couple weeks. I can't let my clients down. So, all right. Hi, Mr. Evans. How are you? There you are.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, sound great. Where are
Um,
you at?
in Philadelphia.
Ooh. Your phone
Um,
should be very busy.
you would think I am a fairly new instructor. Um, I received, well, I'm certified through the USCCA and the NRA.
Okay.
I received my certification in both in December of 2023, and I was starting to help out a more established instructor teach his class, going into 2024. I end up having a real bad accident in 2024, and I couldn't do anything for the rest of the year. And I was cleared to go back and teach. I'm a retired pastor and clinical therapist and program director, so uh, so I'm kind of like a free agent. And so I decided I wanted to kind of get into firearms, instructing. And my interest primarily is teaching, basics, as well as working with congregations to help them to prepare to defend themselves. Um, but I haven't had any luck with uh, posting classes through the USCCA. I've done it a couple of times, had no response, no registrations at all. And I, so I'm just looking for some marketing ideas, things that'll kind of help me kind of get off the ground, so to speak. I've been working with family and friends,
Mhm.
which is different. They tolerate you, at times. But I'm really trying to expand and kind of help build on what I'm trying to do. I've established a LLC. Probably overdid it, but that's what I've done last year.
It's okay.
Uh, but that's really where I'm at.
Do you have a landing page or a sales page or where people can come find you?
Yes, a website. Yes,
You have a website. Can you
yes.
tell me what it is?
It's Sigma Church Defense, sigmachurchdefense.com. I put the website together myself. I'm not an expert at it.
It's pretty
I think
clean. I'll tell you, I've seen some really horrendous ones. It's pretty clean. Okay, and then it goes to your USCCA. Okay,
yes.
you don't have any classes scheduled on USCCA.
No, in fact, like I said, the last I just scheduled one and no one showed up, so I just left it.
Okay. You have to run Google Ads.
Okay,
You have to.
okay.
You're a handsome man sitting in a room by yourself.
Uh,
You got to invite people in. And are you part of a denomination? Do you have any connections because you're retired? Do you have any connections with your current denomination?
I have, Yes, I do with a couple of different denominations. Yes.
So the name of your business, like if I was looking for a basic pistol course, I would not call you
Okay.
because of the name of your business. Because this to me sounds like a security company.
Yeah.
Not that it's wrong, but if that is your target audience, like that, so that's what I would think. Be like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. My
so
initial. I'm sorry.
no, that you might want to consider just like calling it SCD, right?
Hmm.
Firearm training
Right.
or something like that. Just so it just
Right.
opens up to other, normal folks in Philly, normal Philadelphians. But if
Right.
you're gonna focus only on congregations, then you have a correct name of your business. But if you're trying to get the general public to come and take a class from you that is just looking on USCCA, they might not call you.
Okay. Initially, that's really all I wanted to do was work with congregations. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I started that way.
Mm-hmm. So that's fine, but just know that unless there's a personal relationship, that the general public's not
Right.
going to call you.
Okay.
And especially like if I'm not, maybe I'm Muslim, I'm not going to come at you.
Right.
Or I'm Buddhist, Hindu, whatever. Pick the religion of the hour, right? So you kind of
Yes.
put yourself in a box. And that box is okay as long as you're okay with it.
Right. Right.
And then I would continue to put up classes on USCCA. Even if nobody
So
comes
you would or would not?
I would,
Okay.
because here,
Okay.
like then they go to, oh, let me schedule a course. Oh, there's nothing.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents. And then I get all kinds of people in my classes. I'm a very hardcore Christian believer. And then I have the general public, and sometimes they are odd. You're odd. You're an odd person. And they say odd things in class, and that's okay. They're check cleared. It sounds so
Mhm.
terrible, but and they follow direction and everybody's safe. So, and they leave happy.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Okay.
So maybe if you don't want to, I don't want you to rename your business. Maybe just make it an acronym or something. Is that right word? Acronym? Acronym? Yeah.
Yes. 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 Yes.
SCD. And then I would drop the word ministry out of it publicly.
Okay.
Leave it on
Okay.
paper, leave it with the state and the city and your business license and all that fun stuff. But when you go to advertise, I would take the word ministries out.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like you can pray for me and then shoot the bad guy behind me. I pretty much like that. That's pretty cool. And then I would probably
Okay.
also take the USCCA house, what's it called? House of Worship training. Is that right?
Right.
House of Worship,
Yes.
Defend Your
Yes.
Worship, something like that. I would go get
Yeah.
that certificate from them, be it, the instructor course.
Yeah. Yeah. It's um, the mass shooter, of course.
I thought it's brand new. I saw it advertised last 2 weeks. Hold on a second.
Unless they just
Protecting your house
changed.
of worship.
Okay. Yeah, unless they've just changed it. Basically, what it is the mass shooter course, and once you take it, you can kind of adjust it pretty much anywhere because it's the same course. I've seen it. It's the
Oh, okay.
same course.
Did they just rebrand it?
That's what I think that they did because it's the same course.
Okay. Yeah, protecting your house of worship. I just saw it advertised on Facebook the last. Oh, that's a guide. I would give that away too. That's free.
Right. Yeah.
I would put this on your website.
Okay.
And wasn't there a mass shooting that stopped this weekend, right? At a church? I think I read that
Yes.
yesterday. What state was that in?
I can't recall.
Of course it's not on the news because nothing happened because somebody stopped the bad guy. And then my husband was
Yeah.
talking about one last week. So one, I think yesterday, and then one or last week or the week before, where a deacon ran him over with his truck, standing outside the church with like an AR. He's like, no.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're done. You're done. Okay. All right, guys. That's all I got. Any questions or comments? Pastor, I hope I didn't offend you. Please forgive me if I did.
No, 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 no. In fact, you can't be a pastor and be easily offended. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, no, I appreciate your sharing what you did, and I will look into making the necessary adjustments.
Okay.
I'm not very tech savvy, so it takes me a little while, but I will look into getting the adjustments made.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Just a quick question. Is it possible, or is there a prohibition against having a class on USCCA and NRA at the same time, same place, everything?
I have mine on my website, on Instructors Dash, on USCCA, the NRAinstructors.org, and our range website.
Cool.
I can't
Awesome.
express this enough. Like, the more places you have your courses posted, like, people, like, I sell Instructors Dash. It's my product. I own the business, right? So I sell my product. But they're like, oh, I just have them on the USCCA site. Well, that's great. Put them there, plus the range, plus Eventbrite, plus every place that you can put them. No, but who cares? It costs you $5 in a transaction fee. Put your product as many places as you can manage.
And where does it, and do you get credit in both places for a student, or do you have to pick?
No. So the NRA will not allow you to put USCCA. Well, that's not really true. The NRA does not recognize non-NRA courses, right? It has to be out of their list. Basic Pistol, First Steps, whatever, right? USCCA doesn't care.
Right.
Put whatever class you want up. We don't care for CNRA. But the NRA's software doesn't recognize it. They'll let you put a non-NRA class up, but it doesn't go on their search function. It's just for convenience for you, for the instructor, but it's not searchable.
Fair enough.
But they will give you a link. Here's your link. You can send it to whoever you want, but it's not in the general public.
Very cool.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. I will be here next week if anybody wants to come hang out. I'll keep doing this until as long as people show up. All right.
All right. Take care.
Number if you need anything.
Excellent. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.